Now, if you're the oldest sibling, specifically the eldest daughter, you're the second or third parent. And I don't mean this in a loving, nurturing, sweet way. I'm talking about an exhausting, overextending, constantly needing a break way. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Mahogany, and I make content on how to become a version of you that you're proud of, and also talk about things that we can all relate to. This is a place for you to feel seen and understood. And if you enjoy discussions about leveling up and enjoy hearing about things you can relate to, hit the subscribe button and welcome. I am so excited to have you. As beautiful as it is being an older sister, there are so many unnecessary tasks, responsibilities, pressures we have simply by just being born first. Now, I'm not only talking from my personal experiences. I'm talking from the experiences of my friends, my family members, and things I see online from people who are also older siblings. My grandmother is 77 years old, and she has also experienced everything that I talk about in this video because she is the oldest sibling. This is a universal experience that we're all suffering through. It's like your initiation to being an older sister. But that's okay, because there are things that you can do to be released from the shackles of the negativity that comes with being an older sister. So let's unpack it. Let's go back to the basics. At a young age, it is very normal for the oldest sibling, specifically the oldest daughter, to take on the responsibilities of other people. We also feel the need to take on the emotions and the problems of other people at a very young age. And it all starts with the small tasks our parents give to us that most people look at as being harmless. Something as simple as take your sister outside with you and watch over her. If you're making a sandwich, hey, can you make your brother a sandwich as well? If you and your parents are downstairs and they hear your sister upstairs crying, they'll ask you, can you go upstairs and check on your sister? All of those seem like very harmless, simple tasks that a parent will ask their child. But over time, that becomes a lot for that child. And it all seems harmless, but that's how it starts. And as children, we're not able to balance the mental burden. It's just too much. I remember being younger, and if a friend came and knocked on my door and asked if I wanted to play, the first thing I would ask that friend is if my sister could come. If the answer was no, then I didn't want to go. Now, my sister and I today are really close, and I would say that contributed to that because she is my best friend. But at a young age, I should have been able to go out and play with my friends without feeling the need to include my sister. Because that was so normalized, if I go out and play with my friends, I had to bring my sister. I knew if she couldn't come, then I didn't want to go. And again, for a child, that is not fair. And when those small tasks and responsibilities begin to be normalized in your household, parents will start to add a little bit more to that older sibling's plate. Now the responsibilities become a lot bigger. Now the emotional support becomes a lot bigger. And it all goes downhill from there. As an older sibling, naturally you want to protect your younger siblings. But when you are given responsibilities of the parent at a very young age, that protection you feel for your younger siblings is like 1,000 times stronger than what it would naturally be if you didn't have those responsibilities. I take my siblings' issues as my own. And anytime they have a problem, the first thing I want to do is go out and fix it. Even if they're not asking for my help, I feel that it is my responsibility to make sure that my siblings are always good. That came from, at a younger age, me always having the need to make sure that everybody was good. All of this will cause you to feel burnt out. It'll cause you to feel overwhelmed, and that's how you become a people pleaser. The connection between people pleasing and the eldest sibling is actually insane. And I can speak to this directly because as an eldest sibling, I once was a people pleaser. I would do pretty much anything you would need me to do just to get praise, just to get attention, just to get some type of recognition that I was doing something right, because I never really got that when I was younger. Because most of the time, our feelings were put to the back burner, regardless if it was intentional or not. But you knew you would get some type of recognition when you were checking on people, when you were making sure everything was in order, when you were making sure everybody was fine. And then you get addicted to the feeling of the praise and just doing something right and the recognition you get simply by taking on other people's feelings and taking on other people's responsibilities. And naturally, that'll cause us to put our own feelings to the side, because when you grow up and no one is actually paying attention to your feelings or really recognizing the feelings that you have or prioritizing your feelings, you'll start to not prioritize them either. This causes us older siblings to start feeling lonely, start being depressed, start suppressing our own feelings, and we get the label as like the strong sibling, the one who's understanding, the one who gets it. And not because we want to be the strongest sibling or the strongest child, it's because we have no choice. There were so many times in my childhood where my feelings weren't taken into consideration and I was labeled as the understanding child. Again, not because I wanted to be, it's because I had no choice but to be that. And this can affect other areas of your life. It can affect your career, it can affect your love life, it can affect how you connect to people. My grandmother's mother, so my great-grandmother, passed away before my granny was even 50 years old. So because she always had that eldest sibling motherly like feel, she kind of naturally stepped into that role for her siblings, although all of her siblings were grown. My grandmother is 77 years old, and she still is like a mother figure to her siblings. When they have a problem, they call her. When they're fighting, they call her. When they're just going through things emotionally, they call her. And once again, my grandmother takes on a lot of the emotional stress of her siblings. She takes on a lot of their problems, although they're not her own, but it's because she was in that role at such a young age. And then on top of that, she also had her first child when she was really young. So she always had to kind of put other people's feelings before her. And not because she wanted to. Again, it's because she was raised that way. And that's all she knew. So now that we talked about the trauma that we experienced that could come from being an oldest sibling, specifically an oldest daughter, let's talk about how to break free from the shackles of the negativity of being an eldest sister. Everything that I'm going to tell you basically sums up to you have to start being selfish. You have to put yourself first. You don't have to go out and fix everything. Go to therapy and learn how to rewire your brain. The first thing that you should get comfortable with is be comfortable with saying no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. If you don't have the capacity to do something, you don't have to do it. Just because you're able to do something, you don't have to do it. Just because you may want to do something, you don't have to do it. Get comfortable with the word no being in your vocabulary and get comfortable with not explaining yourself. Will this be uncomfortable for a while? Yes. But when you start to put yourself first, you start to realize how important your feelings are. You start to prioritize your own happiness and you start really paying attention to the things that matter to you. You can't go around fixing everyone's life if your life isn't fixed itself. And even if your life is fixed, you're not obligated to fix someone else's. One thing that I had to realize is somebody else's burden is not mine. I would have the time and energy to do something. And for me, I felt like because I had the time and energy to do something, that I was obligated to do it. That's not how it works. If somebody has a million things on their plate and you're sitting at home and you have nothing to do and they ask you to do something, you can say no and continue to sit at home and not do anything. That's where I struggled. If I seen that someone had a lot on their plate and I felt like that I didn't have as much on my plate and I had the availability to do something, I felt like I needed to go do it. But I had to get comfortable with being able to say no. Now, was this uncomfortable for me to say that? Of course. Did people get pissed off? Of course. Do I live a happier and healthier life now that I'm able to confidently say no to someone without explaining myself? Yes. The second thing that I would suggest is putting yourself first with every single thing you do and every single decision you make. If you go to say yes to something, think about how it's going to affect you first. Always keep your feelings and who you are at the forefront of everything you do, especially if you're doing it for someone else. If you have the ability to help someone and you genuinely want to do it, then go do it. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're good first before you can make sure that anybody else is good. You have to put your feelings first. It does not matter how mad they get. It doesn't matter how sad they act. It does not matter how disappointed they may be in you. Your feelings should be your main priority before anybody else. It does not matter if they're used to you saying yes. It does not matter if they're used to you acting a certain way. You need to always, always, always put your feelings first. The last thing I would suggest is to go to therapy. Now, for the longest time, I was so against therapy. I didn't really understand why you would pay someone to listen to your problems until I decided to do therapy myself. It will give you so many different perspectives of situations, and it'll also help you realize that you're not alone. There are so many people in the same situations as you, and there is 100% a way for you to work through them. There is a way for you to heal through every single trauma that you've had. Now, this was a heavy topic, and I didn't want to get too deep, too quick, and kind of keep it a bit light. But I know that there is someone out there that could relate to exactly everything that I talked about in this video. Because the thing is, yes, being an oldest sibling is really beautiful and it's fun, and it is a blessing to be able to have people that look up to you as a role model, but it's also exhausting, especially if you take on a lot of the burden of your parents. Me personally, I love being an older sibling, and there are still things that I'm struggling with or trying to work and heal through that I experienced as being an oldest sibling. So with that being said, I hope somebody was able to relate to this video and able to take a tip from this video that you found useful. If you like this video, make sure you like and comment your favorite part about this video, or comment some things that you did or you're doing to heal from the negativity of being an oldest sibling. Also, make sure you subscribe so you can be notified when my next video drops. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.